When I took the job, I thought about it. But going through this process, one of the things that I'm trying really hard to do and trying really hard to make sure our team does from the top down is to stay present. And what I mean by that is we don't want to get ahead of ourselves because you, as soon as we start getting ahead of ourselves, that's when disaster always occurs, it seems. And so for us, starting with me, making sure, everybody in the organization on down understands it's about the next game. And really it's about the next possession. And I try to block out everything else as best I can and not think about what ifs, because I know for me, it will distract me 100% at this time of the year.
Hey Mike, it seems like from March on, maybe like late February after the All-Star break, we've just seen a different level of playmaking from Jaylen. I'm wondering what you might attribute that to, if you agree with that assessment, and what you might attribute that to. Has he taken steps in that department, and where do you see him improving there?
Right. I mean, like I've said it many times before, he's an MVP candidate. And if you're an MVP candidate, you make the game easy for people around you. You make the game easy for your teammates because you're going to see different coverages every night. And a lot of times, those different coverages involve a second defender. He understands, not just him, he understands as well as everybody else what our spacing should be, what the timing should be when we're executing our actions, and all the little details that you have to be able to beat double teams. And giving our guys credit, they're spacing the floor the right way when they see the double teams and making the passes easier for him to make. It's just evolved over time based off of our concepts and him and everybody else getting more comfortable with them. And then him showing what he can do as an MVP candidate.
Hey, Mike. Um, you made a slight reference to the time in 2017 when you guys won 15 in a row with Golden State to start
It was like 10 or 11, something like that.
yeah. Well, you as head coach, and then Steve came back, and it was you went up 3-0 in the finals, and then lost that one to Cleveland. Um, and either way, it was a lot of games. Um, I'm curious now that you've been a part of two of like the longer playoff winning streaks in NBA history. Um, if there are any commonalities with really long playoff winning streaks, like is there a DNA or a trait that you've noticed that's kind of a common denominator in any of these things?
The one thing that I will definitely lean on is good players. Good players make you a good coach. We have good players at Golden State. We have good players here. But beyond that, people, again, I've said this handful of times. They've asked, how can you compare this team and that team, whatever finals team? What's your guys' identity? Our identity lies in our intangibles, and I go back to what our standard is. I mean, the guys on that team, they all sacrificed. They all had a competitive spirit that was like unmatched. They all stayed connected, through tough times. They all believed in each other in the process while holding each other accountable. Those intangibles are what I'm starting to see our group as being what our identity is, and which is similar to some of the other teams that I've been fortunate, blessed, and lucky to be a part of that have you know made it that far.
Mike, you just mentioned the concepts of the offense. You talked about last night that with the way they're guarding you, you're playing more conceptually. You've
Yeah.
referenced that a lot. I guess as on a very basic level, like why is it important to be able to play that way? And what sort of formed your thinking about making your offense more conceptual rather than set based?
Everybody grows in their journey, and um, being an assistant um, in Golden State helped out a lot. Almost everything they do is conceptual, and when you get to the playoffs, um, everybody first of all knows exactly what play is coming. So if I were sitting here going two up, two up, two up, every single one of our opponent's assistants would be like, pick and roll coming. This guy's doing it. This guy, shrink, tut. And so they know ahead of time exactly what's coming. And the game is physical, so they're going to really bump you to mess with your front court pace. And it's going to disjoint you offensively. And if you can understand, okay, hey, let's get in the flow, let's play in flow, and it's read and react based off where the ball goes and where body goes. Now it's a lot harder for their staff to help them ahead of time. Now they have to have an elite defense in order to know that I need to play it this way because he may come off of the pin down, or I need to play it that way because he may come off the flare. And you're on an island by yourself. All five guys are, and they have to stay connected on their own without any help. And if your guys understand concepts and can play conceptual basketball offensively, come playoff time versus very good defensive teams that only get better as you advance, and it gets more physical, which can disjoint you offensively, you'll have a better chance of having some success because, like I said, they don't know exactly what's coming in a timely manner.
Two more.
Hey, Mike, how you doing?
Good.
Mallory, don't mute me. I got two questions.
I'll allow it.
Thank you. The first one is you've been saying a lot lately about Jaylen being an MVP candidate, and I was wondering, were you surprised then that he didn't get as much love in the MVP voting?
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's been doing this year after year after year since he got here in New York. We've had a fantastic season. The numbers that he puts up are off the charts, but he's also doing it two ways. People aren't talking about him leading the league in charges, and there are other guys out there that get mentioned a lot, and well deserved. Well deserved. I'm not, discounting them, but one or two of them might be strictly offense. Another one might be better defensively than offensively, and he's showing his mettle by leading the top three team in the conference, not just with his scoring, not just with 6 to 7 assists a game, but also leading the league in charges. And that should go a long way. And I hope going forward that the voters really take all of that in consideration.
And my second one was, I'm going back to 2017. You were up 3-0 against the Spurs in the conference finals. And I'm sure there was some, LeBron's waiting for us on the other side. How do you guard against, because you're in a similar situation now, how do you guard against complacency and we're up 3-0. There's never been a team that's giving up that kind of lead, when you face a game like you're facing tomorrow?
The first thing is it can't just be me. It has to come from within. And that's another thing that you love about this team. We have a lot of veterans that naturally understand what's at stake. And then when you're talking about the leadership from within, the leaders starting with Jaylen are constantly saying, hey, one more game. We got to take it one possession at a time. I'm reiterating those things and the staff as well. But when you start having stuff come from within, that makes it even more powerful.
Hey, Mike, on a similar subject, just when you guys win like you do last night, and maybe it's different now than it was first round or something, do you guys talk about sometimes being, we'll celebrate this till the plane lands, and then move on to tomorrow. Do you give yourself time and the team time to enjoy each accomplishment, or do you get right to we're on to game four now and not enjoy all that Cleveland has to offer?
You know, I didn't say that. I just want to put that out there. I didn't say that. You know, it's a lot of times it's a feel. The guys have played good basketball, and they deserve the right for me to make sure that I recognize it, and that they're able to take a breath and enjoy, for a few moments what they did do. But again, I'll try to read the room, and so every once in a while, I may tell them, "Hey, you guys are great, 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 but be ready for this because this can happen." So I'll try to let them go a little bit, but bring them back to earth every once in a while with a statement of something that could happen or did happen. And, we kind of go from there. But everybody's human. Everybody needs an opportunity to enjoy this roller coaster ride, as it's unfolding. But in the same breath, it's my job to try to make sure I lead the charge in bringing them back down to earth sooner than later.
Thank you, Coach.
Hey, I got one more thing before I'm taking off. You guys can all print this. Great players out there. I'm not discounting anybody, but freaking OG got robbed. He should have been first team all defense. First team all defense. The versatility that it brings to this team, we're a top 5 defensive team. Top 5 defensive team. Okay, the versatility that he brings, and everybody always says, "Oh, you got Cat, you got Jaylen, blah, blah, blah." The versatility that guy brings to this team is off the charts. And I hope the voters get it right next time around. I'm happy he's second team. He deserves something, but it was wrong.